So those of you who know a little bit about rattling know that we've had an EcoCube product around for some time. And what we've done with it over the last 6 to 8 months is create two new products using the same hardware. One is EcoGuard, and that's a long-term monitoring service that is provided by professionals, and I hope you'll join one of our webinars in the future about that product. This one is EcoQube Pro. We're using the same hardware, as I mentioned, as our original EcoCube, but we've changed the firmware and the software just a little bit where it could be used for short-term radon testing. So in this application, we're able to do tests between 48 hours and 96 hours. We're using the onboard memory instead of the cloud memory that we would typically use for longer testing with our EcoCube or EcoGuard. And it comes with a dashboard to track all of your projects or your single tests, and a phone app that makes it easy to start and stop and put in information while you're in the field. We have radon reports that are somewhat basic, but still in compliance for a large project where they could be incorporated into a master report for like a school or a multifamily building, meaning by simpler, meaning they don't have all the recommendations and so forth on each individual classroom or apartment report, knowing that that would be inside the master report. But if you're doing standalone testing for a single test, then you need a standalone report that has all the recommendations and everything to be in compliance with the NCR standard. So we have a complete report for that purpose as well. So as I mentioned, the beauty of the EcoQube Pro is that it's versatile. We've got a program set up that makes it affordable and easy to use, whether you're testing single family homes, you're a home inspector or a tester doing real estate testing or concerned homeowner testing. And then it also has a project function in the dashboard that makes it easy to set up a project for a large building like apartments or workplaces, schools, military bases, child care facilities. And we've worked to make the unit and the service affordable for all these applications to the point that it competes and if not beats the price you would pay for charcoal testing. So as I mentioned, this is an NRPP-approved device. We went through the evaluation process to have it approved and listed. If you go to nrpp.org and go into their device list, you will find the EcoQube Pro listed there. Ecosense has also been approved as a laboratory by the NRPP. We are approved as a measurement professional in Illinois. So if you're in Illinois, you can actually work as a technician under our professional license. We have completed virtually everything for our New York ELAP accreditation. That's the Environmental Laboratory Accreditation Program. We're waiting for an audit that should be happening in a couple of weeks, and we'll be set up there. And we're going through the process to get a New Jersey and a Florida radon measurement business license for those testers who want to work under that. And certainly if you're in other states, then you're good to go, with a possible exception here and there. And if you're in a state that you may have concerns, then be sure to let me know and we'll get you set up where it works for you. So again, this is a real CRM. You'll get accurate, comprehensive, real-time analysis, real individual hourly readings. Compared to charcoal, when you do a large deployment in particular, you typically would do one charcoal canister in each classroom or one charcoal canister in each apartment. And then if you find an elevated concentration, as you know, you would need to do a follow-up test before you could recommend mitigation or not. With a CRM, you can make decisions on a single deployment, eliminating the need for confirmatory tests. You also don't have to do blanks and spikes as you would with charcoal. The test is set up very easily from 48 hours. You can set it for 72 hours or 96 hours, and it will automatically stop at the end of the period that you've set it for. So you don't have to worry about hurrying back to get it at a certain time, or in the case of charcoal, it's out too long. If you want to set it for 96 hours and pick it up at 48, then you can do that and stop it with the mobile app, so you're not locked in. And then what excites me a lot here is that we take care of the calibration. So we're going to actually swap these out for you at the end of a year lease. And you won't have to do without them for calibration. We will just replace them, and you'll send those back in, and we'll calibrate them again and provide them to another client. So we'll rotate those through. The sensor that's in this device is the same Ecosense sensor that you're probably familiar with our other products. It's 30 counts per hour per picocurie per liter, so you can really count on the validity of those individual hourly readings. Fast results, you can get the results after you complete the test. We do act as a lab, so we review the data before we post it. So we're looking at the hourly data to review it for any anomalies. We've got an AI function that helps us do that, and then if it flags anything, then we look at it manually to confirm it, and then we post it to the dashboard. The mobile app is really simple and quick to use to set up and retrieve the devices. You can put in everything you need, so you have no paperwork to worry with. The device connects to the mobile app via Bluetooth, but if you're rolling out a hallway, for example, and you've got multiple units on a cart, it could recognize more than one. Instead of trying to figure out which one is the one you're wanting to set, you can just scan the QR code on the back. It'll quickly connect right to it, and you can go ahead and put in your information for that particular test. The dashboard makes it easy to manage projects, all your devices, all of your testers, all of your reports, and all of your data. And then when you're placing it out in the field, you can, as required for doing CRM tests according to the ANSI standards and state requirements, then you need to do a duplicate or a cross-check every 10 tests. As you set these up, you can indicate which one is the duplicate with the one that you're placing in that particular location, and it will create a report for you at the end of the process for that project, where you can, or for all of your single tests, where you can determine, what your precision is and provide that to your client or to the state. So as I mentioned, we're working on a New Jersey business license and a Florida business license. If you'd like to work under that. Our lease program, and we do lease these, includes annual calibration. As I mentioned, we review the data for anomalies with our lab approval. The results are posted, as I mentioned already, within minutes of terminating the test. We do track the duplicates. We have a state-approved QA plan and standard operating procedures for, I think, every state. And then if your state requires activity reports, then we can prepare those where they can be provided to the state as well, so you don't have to worry about that reporting. So the point I want to make here on the webinar is the versatility. You can deploy this because of the affordability for doing single tests. It, one at a particular house, and then you just put as many out as you would like throughout the course of days, weeks, and months. Or if you have a single project where you need to do simultaneous deployment, then we've got an affordable way for you to do that as well. One of the advantages of a CRM, if you're not familiar with using them, is the ability to not only get the integrated average, but to also be able to look at the variations from 1 hour to the next and see perhaps trends. This particular slide is showing you a property. This is a real test result that every evening the radon concentrations would go up quite high. It's above 10 picocuries per liter, and then every day they would go down quite low as about 1.5 picocuries per liter. And if you looked at the average overall, it was just a smidgen under the action level, but this particular client did not spend time in their home during the day. They went to the office and worked, and then so that's when it was nice and low. And during the night, the concentrations were quite high. This is also a potential occurrence in a school, for example, or commercial building, where the air handler perhaps is adding ventilation during the day or the occupied hours. And as a result, the concentrations are low, but then let's say the children go home at 3 o'clock, the teachers shortly thereafter, and the air handler shuts off, and the radon starts to build up because of the lack of ventilation, and it could build up high enough that the next morning the concentrations are still high. So perhaps the necessary control for a building like that would be able to, or would to have the ability to be able to control when the system turns on. Maybe it needs to come on earlier in the morning where it can ventilate the classrooms before the children arrive. Or you can see where if it's off for 2 days during the weekend, then it may have to be even earlier on Monday morning, or you have a long 3-day weekend. It may have to be adjusted for that. So having this kind of data when you do the survey on a large building or a school means that the mitigator gets a head start. They already have information to help determine what could be the possible ramifications of the air handler, or systems on, system off, occupied versus occupied. Rather than have to just simply conclude, well, it appears as if the concentrations are high, now we need to go in for a third test to do some diagnostic testing. You already have the diagnostics from the original testing. The EcoQube Pro is designed to actually be mounted on an interior wall that meets the standard. We have command strips that go with the devices, and then as you need them, you can purchase them about anywhere. These are the kind of strips that you can snap up, and they let go of the wall surface without damaging it. We have a do not unplug warning label on the adapters of all our units. I can share with you that we just completed a project in Vermont where our client tested 7 schools. Altogether between those 7 schools, I think it was about 360 classrooms. There was only one instance where actually 2 instances where a device got unplugged, and that was on the very first test. And it was unplugged long enough to for a teacher who was the culprit both times, same teacher, 2 different rooms, to plug in their cell phone to get a little charge. And as soon as it was plugged back in, they continued to operate and everything was fine. But the lesson that we learned is to make sure that we have very clear instructions that that they need to be stayed plugged in during the test for to minimize the deployment period. And we had great cooperation, no more issues after that. And then the test report. As I mentioned, the abbreviated test report looks something like this. It will show the trend chart, give you all the hourly readings, and it's designed to meet the standard. And this particular report would be able to be imported into a master report. And you can also, from the dashboard, you can put a summary of all the reports for all the different classrooms or apartments or whatnot. Then we have a more complete report for standalone tests in real estate transactions, for example, or for concerned homeowners. That report not only includes the first 2 pages that you just saw, but also a place where you can put in photographs for where it was placed, and comments, and then you can it gives recommendations and all the information that's required by the NCR standard, as well as all the checklist information that you need for compliance. And so we've got a complete report. So what I'd like to show you right now is quickly starting a project from the dashboard. This is a video that I thought might be easier and for you to see how it works. But this was an early video, so we've added something since then. You can see on the left side that it has a menu item for projects and settings. We also have a menu item now for single tests. So your single tests for real estate transactions and single family homes are all stored in one part of the dashboard. And then if you have a project, you can create a particular project, and all the tests for that project are stored under that particular project file. So I'm gonna walk you through this video. So you can see that you're just going to go into the EcoQube Pro dashboard, and you're going to create an account like you would with about anything. Put in your account information to set up your username and password, put in your company information and so forth. And once you're in, then it'll take you to the dashboard. You can see that in this particular demonstration, you can create a project. So you could put in the name of, say, the school or the apartments, the client name, the company that you're working for, their information, the projected start date and stop date for the project, property address, and so forth. And once it's there, then it's going to create that file. And then you can click on the project file and open it up, and you can see the project details and the property details that you entered. And you can go in and edit them if you see something was entered incorrectly or you need to update it, change anything. Real easy to do. And then you can see up at the top here, you've got project information, testers, status, and reports. So for single tests, you can set up your staff, your employees, where they have permanent login credentials. But if you are working for a particular project, maybe it's an apartment building or apartment complex, and it's maybe it's not local, maybe it's out of town and you're having to hire a subcontractor for that, then you can actually invite testers to work on the particular project, so they'll get access to place and retrieve devices for that project, but not for anything else. So you can see here, if you click testers, then you can invite a tester. And as you invite the tester, all you really need to do is put in their name and their email address and their certification or license number, assuming they have one. And then you can invite them. And they will get an email that will enable them to actually copy and paste the access code and put it into the EcoQube Pro mobile app that they can download from the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. And that gives them access into the project. So I'll show you how that works in just a minute.
Yeah, I can see it starting. Yep.
Okay. All right. So this was the one that I said that if you're in the field, you would get the code. So if you see right here, that's the email that would come to your cell phone if you're a field technician. And once you receive that, then you're just going to copy that and paste it into the EcoQube Pro app. It'll give you a prompt to put in the access code where you can get into the app. You can download it, fine, but this gives you access to the devices. And once you're in there, you can see there it says we found an EcoQube Pro near you, and it'll show you the ones that are in proximity. It also gives the status of those that are in proximity, so you can see whether they finished testing and are ready to be uploaded, or whether they're in a ready state, meaning that you can begin a test with them, or a test is in progress. And then in order to start the test, you're going to scan it, or if you just had one device there, then it would just recognize it via Bluetooth. But you scan the QR code on the bottom, and then it's going to immediately connect, and you can put in the location ID, the floor tested, the protocol you're using, the year built, whether there's a mitigation system or not, whether it's a duplicate. You can see there if you're doing a duplicate with a or whether it's the original for that particular location. You need to do duplicates every 10 locations, as we all know. You can put in site information, any comments there. Back up. You can pick the 48 hours, 72 hours, 96 hours, and then you can choose the delay time, 4, 12, or 24. And this is where I said you can either skip, as you see there at the bottom, and move right on. If you don't want to use Wi-Fi, it's not accessible or practical. But if you do have a situation where you would like to, then you can connect it to Wi-Fi. And like any other device that you want to connect to Wi-Fi, you're going to pick the network and put in the password, and then you can actually set it up where you can see and monitor what's going on during the test, rather than wait until you retrieve it. Once you're there, you can see that in the, let me get back here, that the device is ready to start testing, and you put in the information, and it'll give you the measurement duration and so forth that you entered. You can see that, and then you can go ahead and start the test. You can see that now it's in progress, and now you can exit and go on to place another test with another monitor somewhere else. And then when you're ready to retrieve it, then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to open up the app. It'll see any devices that are in proximity. To be clear, you can just scan the code, and it'll connect to that device. You can go ahead and download You can confirm the time if you're stopping it prior to the prescribed time that you originally put in. And at that point, all you're going to do is update anything you need to from the site information. And once you've done all that, then it'll be saved on your app and also on our server. And oh, battery is not plugged in. I guess I better take care of that. And confirm the upload and you're off. You can see at the bottom here that you just reset for another test. And then the other one, I can check. Can you see that? Okay, so you're just going to log into the create your account when you first start out with us. Once you create your account, you're going to be able to create a new project. So you can see there for the project, you can put in the name, the client name, the email address, project start date, projected end date, property address, and so forth. So under the project file, all of your tests for that project are kept with that project. So you can have multiple projects on your dashboard for as many projects as you want to perform. There is another menu item that you don't see on this video. This was one of our early demos, and it has single tests as one of the menu options just above projects. So you would have the ability to do single tests, and they would all be in one file from one house to the next to the next. So you don't have to create a project for one house, is what I'm saying. And then as you continue through there, you can check the information on your project, edit it if you need to, just by going in and hit the edit button. Pretty much the kind of thing you would expect these days. For testers, if you want to invite a tester, you click the testers tab and invite a tester. You put in the client or the tester's name, their email address, and their certification number, and then it's going to send them that email that I just showed you. And then their access code will be also in the dashboard in case they lose it, but so you'll have a record of it. So it's pretty easy. And I think I showed you what the reports look like. So now let's see if I have any other questions. Gwen, do you have any questions? If you have any, please raise your hand. Dave, Brian, Don, Doug, Eric, John. Okay. Go back over here. NRPP approval. That's a great question. We have not gone through the process. In the past, we've had devices that were approved by NRPP, and they accepted the evaluation from NRPP and went ahead and approved it as routine. We do have a sales rep working in, for the Canadian market, and Sheena, I will have her call you about using these in Canada. But we'd certainly like to do that. The biggest hassle for Canada is they'll need to come back to the States for recalibration, but I think they're working on a solution to that right now. Any other questions? Over here. Dave, are you only leasing these? Yes. Right now we are. We felt like that was the way the business model we wanted to have, where we could make sure that they get recalibrated as part of the process. I think it'd be difficult to find anything that would be less expensive for all we're providing, including all the lab analysis and the reporting to the state and QA plans and all of that. But that's what we're doing now. I'm not saying that won't change at some point in the future, but there's no plan for that right now. Are we sending them to a chamber for recalibration? That's another question. Good question, Dave. Thanks for asking. We have a relationship with Bowser Morner and KSU for recalibrations on our Radon Pro, for example, because all of our devices are manufactured in South Korea, and they are calibrated at a radon chamber there that participates in an international intercomparison program and is acceptable here. But we are in the process of setting up our own internal radon chamber and have it approved and up and running by the end of July. So by the time these devices are ready to be recalibrated, we will be able to do them in-house at a facility in Southern California. So thanks for asking that question. I'm really excited about that prospect. Thanks for attending. We're going to follow up with all of you with an email. I hope you don't mind, but I want to make sure that you've got information. If there is something that you didn't see, or you think of a question you would like to know more about, then by all means, give me an email. My email address is djones, D-J-O-N-E-S, at ecosense.io. If you're working for a due diligence company or have large projects, then please call me. I can work with you on those. Perhaps we could even set up a demonstration project for you on a real job site. We'd love to meet you if need be, in order for you to try them out and see how they work. We're confident that once you try them, you're going to love them. They're very simple and quick and easy, and we look forward to that opportunity. One last thing, for those of you who wouldn't see the need to lease, say, 45 unit cases because you're not doing large projects, month in and month out, and you'd be concerned to keep them busy, but you have one project that you would like to do. If you have those, we can do special lease arrangements for a project. If you call me or email me, then we'll be glad to look at the project you're doing and how many buildings you need to test, and how many rooms or apartments or whatever you need to test. And then we can put together a quote for you that makes sense for you as well as us. So we look forward to that opportunity as well. Just give me a call. Dave asked one last question. NRPP tracks CRMs with specific serial numbers. Yes, every one of these has a specific serial number. When we change them out for the ones with different serial numbers, then basically every lease is open-ended. You can terminate with 30 days notice after that first 6-month commitment. But when we swap them out, Dave, we're going to give you a schedule, a custody schedule. So you will be reassigned new ones, and then the ones that you had will come off of your custody list. And if there's any organization that needs that to be updated, then we'll be glad to take care of that for you. All right. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate the opportunity. Stay tuned for upcoming webinars. I think we've got another one scheduled for March and a couple in April. So I hope to see you there. Again, give me a call if I can help. Thanks again.